Simpson. And Japan have gone absent without leave. This is Whitmore. Paul and Gale both available. It's still Whitmore. It is the Reggae Boyz who take the lead.
Ball chat. Greetings, football lovers. Welcome to Ball Chat. We are live again, new season, family. Wait, technical difficulties, audio, everything clear. Are we coming through loud and clear, family? Mic check, 1, 2, 3. Hello, anyone? Anyone out there? Anyone can hear me? We're live again, family. Junior, can you hear me now?
Hearing you, you hearing me, right?
Yes, I'm hearing you. Welcome.
But make sure that let's sit.
Hello,
Yeah, we're good.
Yes.
Yo, it's the first show. There's a kickoff show. I have to make sure. We just have to make sure.
All right, so greetings, football lovers. Let's do the formal introduction. Greetings, football lovers, sports fans. Welcome to BCN Sports Network, Ball Chat, Get Park, aka Around a Corner. Junior, we made some changes in the off season. Before we discuss it, first and foremost, how was your summer? How is your summer going, family? And how you doing?
I'm good enough. I can't complain. I'm happy. We have life. We have strength. We get a chance to do Ball Chat for our 7th year. This is our 7th year.
BCN Sports.
Well, the Sunday show is still doing in Ball Chat. So, but BCN has evolved after 7 years. You know, it was all part of the plan. And when to pull the curtains back a little bit, the year after the World Cup. And this was the World Cup that was in
2018.
What was the World Cup before? Yeah, 2018 World Cup. Before that World Cup, or the year after that World Cup, we say, you know what? Since we play football every Sunday, and after we done play football, we sit down and talk every Sunday. And sometimes we talk for like 3 hours. We finish play football at 7, 8, or 8, 9, depending on the time of year when the sun go down. And sometime at 11 o'clock, we're still at the battlefield. So they say, oh, why not just bring the battlefield conversation to the outside world? And that was 7 years ago, and that's where Ball Chat was born. And now, after 7 years, as you will see with other shows as they evolve, the 7th to 8th year is normally when you make a big jump. So we are just getting ready for that big jump by creating now a network.
Yep, BCN Sports Network official kickoff season, reimagine Ball Chat. There's a lot of changes that we have coming in, family, that will occur. What will remain the same? First and foremost, Ball Chat Weekly, the Sunday show at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, will stay solely focused on all things football. And subsequently, the changes are coming. Cricket, lovely cricket. We're going to roll out a cricket show called Bowl Them or something like this, or Rally, or West Indies, a bug team. But cricket, lovely cricket. We'll be discussing cricket. We're huge cricket fans. Of course, big up to the West Indies cricket team that won an ODI series for the first time in 34 years against Pakistan. So cricket is coming to BCN Sports. Track and field, family World Championship. We'll do track and field coverage. We'll do live coverage of the World Championship. Junior, your special sport, the Philadelphia Eagles, Super Bowl defending champion, NFL, the big man sport. We'll have an NFL minute coming to BCN Sports.
Yep. Also basketball, anything with competition involved, and especially if Caribbean is also involved in it, is very, very possible BCN will be somewhere lurking.
Yeah. So BCN Sports is our official flagship name now. This is essentially the banner, the lead leading organization for our sports network. So we're going to go for it in 2025, 2026, the remainder of 2025, 2026 on this high with BCN Sports. Big up to Camon. Camon is attending a meeting as she get ready for upcoming season of her referee. Yo, brown envelope time forward. But for the new subscribers, want to formally introduce ourselves. I am Benton, aka the man who salt up people's team. I am Benton Lawson. Julia, talk to the people, man. Tell the people.
Well, I not give up my government
the new subscribers about George.
Yo, I'm Junior, and I'm a die-hearted fan of the former Empire, and you're going to hear nothing but banter over the next couple of months as we get ready for the kickoff of the Premier League season and all the European football season. So, we just love our sport. So that's what we bring. And for all those who are tuning in that followed us during the watch-alongs during the summer, as promised, we were going to come back at the start of the season and bring the same energy that we had during the watch-along season. And also big up to all the people that attended the Manchester United versus Everton game at the Georgia Dome. I was there up in the nosebleeds, and I was there with some die-hard fans. I meant to tell you something, man. Some fans are in Atlanta of football that, wow.
And for our new subscribers, we're based in Atlanta. And most notably, one of the things that stood out after the conclusion of that Premier League summer series, that Manchester United-Everton game, we had to spray the place. It was a bug infestation. We were happy to get them out of town. Both bug teams stink up the place, a.k.a. brought the roaches to the Mercedes-Benz home of the Atlanta United, and similarly bug Atlanta Falcons. But it was a nice vibes. It was good to see Premier League football, friendly Premier League football in the ATL.
Yep. And I'm going to say it right now, and let me just piss off the Liverpool fans from now. We have a new competitor for the "You'll Never Walk Alone" song, because the Manchester United fans have turned Country Road into a Manchester United song. And yo, if I could feel that way sitting down and hearing fellow Manchurian fans singing Country Road, I can only imagine what it's like at Anfield singing "You'll Never Walk Alone," because it's a different feeling, man. Different.
So the song, where is it? Take me home, country road, to the place. So wait,
Yep.
So how is that? Take me back to, take me away from 14, 15 to a place up the Premier League table. Was that? How is this? How did they incorporate Manchester United into that song, Pablo?
I think it's actually a pretty smart promotion. Okay, it is take me home, United Road. There's not Country Road.
Okay,
United Road. Okay. Right, it says take me home, United Road, to the place I belong. And then it says to Old Trafford to see United, take me home, United Road. Okay. Now, with Manchester United trying to make a new stadium, well, let's see how this song evolves. But we'll see. More to come on that.
More to come on that. All right, football fam, let's get to the meat of the matter. Call-in show. So people who want to call in fact, let's get the number out. By the way, if you're new to Ball Chat is a fan-friendly show. A lot occurred during the summer break. And I want to salute, Sportsmax, home of champions. Sportsmax is no longer in existence. Big up to Chris Darren, CEO of West Indies Cricket, one of the founders of Sportsmax. Digicel decided that's the end of it. So Lance Whitaker and the brass. Yo, what if you forget Lance Whitaker and Ball Chat? Maybe Ball Chat management need to hire Lance Whitaker. But Sportsmax has left a space BCN Sports is there to fill the void. The void, family. BCN Sports will be there to fill the void.
I hear you, boss.
All right. Let's get to the football preview show, family. Junior, when last you see one of these things? When last you touch one of these things?
That's what? Yo, yeah. Let me see it again. Put it up again. Yo, it's been years, man. Pre-COVID.
When last you touch one of these things? It's back. It's back. Football, club football is back, family. I have my football. Just I'll go and throw a roll on my hand. Come in and kick it. This is me I deal with. So let's get to the English Premier League preview show. We're going to focus on the big teams and the new boys and essentially other major storylines, transfer news and other major storylines. Of course, the window closes on September 1st. So a lot will happen between now and September 1st. Well, August 13th. So we have quite a bit of time left. 18 more days or so before the window closes. Junior, we want to kick it off now with the Premier League preview show, focusing on what have you been watching so far in the summer transfer window. What stood out for you so far, focusing on the Premier League?
You know, I'm not going to steal their thunder. I agree with, I think Goldbridge said it, and I think some other football shows out there have highlighted that, especially Premier League-based football shows. They have highlighted that we're already in the Super League, right? And the famous Super League that tried to occur, and UEFA, along with their supporters, found a way to kill that push from Perez and company, trying to create a Super League. I think one of the compromises that happened was they turned the Champions League into the Super League. The Champions League is a glorified Super League. That's why they changed the format. And we were so dumb, or maybe we were just being raw fanatics at the time and not recognizing that when the format of the Champions League changed, it really resembles a league. It's now a Super League. It's no longer a Champions League where it was a group format, which is normally like a cup. Before the Champions League was a cup format. You have multiple groups, top two teams advance to the knockout stage. That's cup tournament. It became a league, right? I said all that to say that the money that gets spent or the money that is earned by these teams that make it to the Champions League is enormous. I think for a team that don't make it out of the knockout, something like that, it's like 100 million right off the bat for qualifying for the Champions League. That affected the transfer market this year. We saw teams like Liverpool going out of their way, changing the way they normally do business to spend all that money because of the influx of cash that came in. We see Chelsea spending money as usual. So when you ask, we see Arsenal spending money, which is unusual. So Arsenal and Liverpool, to me, signified the change in the football monies that affected this year. Plus, you have what they call FFP or whatever they want to call it, that kicked in this year as well. So all of these now affected the transfers that we saw that happen this year. So where I stand in the transfer market is the rich got richer, the poor stays poor, and the teams with high ambition gambling this year. And let's see how it works out. Because the gamblers are the teams that are not in the Champions League and spending heavy. And they are spending heavy trying to make it in the Champions League. But look at what Liverpool did. Look at what Arsenal did and what they're still trying to do. And then also look at teams like Newcastle that are not perennial top 5 or Champions League qualifiers. Look at how they are affected by this Champions League. I think that's the biggest story, is Newcastle qualified for the Champions League and is struggling to bring in players.
But it's not for a lack of trying for Newcastle. I mean, Newcastle qualifying for Europe and not. I mean, they do have money in the terms of the Saudi investment fund. So there's not just a money thing when it comes to football. There is name, legacy, big names. Even Bugside Manchester United. Say what we want about Manchester United finishing 15th. The fact that Newcastle was interested in Sesko and he ended up going to Man United. That suggests to me like legacy, name recognition. So that part will play a significant role in how teams kind of convince players to move them. Big up to Fabi Frano. How I didn't get a notification. Yo, turn on the notification bell. Let's turn on the ball chat notification bell. All the people who have ball chat, make sure to send a subscribe. Make sure to turn on the notification bell.
We're only 23 subscribers away on YouTube. 23 subscribers away.
Junior, we're ending the season, we're at 24.
25.
Before we get to Premier League, I wanted to ask you a couple questions. The impact that you think that the potential newly revamped or just concluded FIFA Club World Cup will have on the starting of the Premier League and La Liga kicks off this weekend. Will that have any impact? Less rest time for some teams, more rest time for others. Will the Club World Cup have impact on performance for these big name teams? The not Barcelona, Real Madrid, Man City, Chelsea, who end up winning the thing.
The team Chelsea that made it to the end, it might affect them, but the windfall is they got heavy payout, and these teams are still active in the transfer market. So even though you might have lost out on rest, you still can make it up by strengthening your squad. So,
but you can only have but so many players, right? You can only have but such squad. There's a cap, a limit to the amount of players that you can have in your squad.
There is, but you can also flush out some players that are fringe players.
So what we see, Nicholas Jackson.
Well, not only Nicholas Jackson, but in some aspects, we're kind of dropping words on players like Martinelli. Because if Arsenal does sign Eze, Martinelli suffer. So a lot of teams out there are strengthening their squads. Now, we talk about will Club World Cup have an effect on them? Yes, but the strength of these teams have gotten exponentially better versus the rest of the league, that however slow they start, they will be able to make it up. Now, I have a theory that teams like Atletico Madrid clearly did not care about the Club World Cup. Cholo went there and they just laid a big, fat, stinking egg because he has bigger priorities ahead of him. So some of the teams, I think, approached it that way. I think, was it Inter? Which Italian team would they and they just dropped? I think it was Inter, right?
Inter Milan didn't do
laid an egg. They just forward and they say, oh, we're up on vacation and take ourselves. PSG, we saw what happened to them in the finals against Chelsea. We saw what happened to them against Tottenham today. That is more the use that we can look at, because how will PSG fare at the start of the season in League One, which they should run away with anyway? But how will they start? Because they seem to be sputtering ever since winning that Champions League title. And maybe rest our lack of rest might have been affecting them. So we'll see.
All right, before we get to Premier League preview, a Super Cup took place today. Tottenham, Thomas Frank and Spurs end up dropping the soap on penalties after leading 2-0. Goals from Van der Ven and Romario, and Lee and Gonzalo Ramos were tied up late for PSG, which subsequently won in penalties. Couple things coming out of the game, Lucho Hernandez, Luis Enrique said one thing that is abundantly clear about his team his love about this team is that we never believe that we're out of any football game, aka the faith in winning is a big part of the DNA of this team that he has built. And then from Thomas Frank's side of things, so close, he said that it's a work in progress, but he's overall okay with the commitment, with the performance displayed. Thoughts on the game, win or loss for any of these teams? I personally thought that Paris was probably one of the worst Champions League winner in recent memory when Spurs led that game 2-0.
How are they any different than was it Avram Grant's Chelsea the following year?
Well, there's enough. The room is not limited to one team, so we can't squeeze up other teams on the bus as the worst Champions League winning teams in recent memories. Because you can't win Champions League and then get your head beat off in the FIFA Club World Cup so embarrassingly bad that you end up want to fight at the conclusion of the game in New Jersey. And then you were on the verge of losing to Spurs.
I think that's revisionist history, but because you won't be able to take the Ballon d'Or, and you won't be able to take the Champions League medal away from Dembele and company. So they would just look at it and say, Crimea River, we are the worst team ever to win Champions League. Baha, boohoo, fine. But for me though, I think it's Crimea River. But and they would just look at you and say, well, you know what? We could be Arsenal.
Too early, family. The season just started.
It hasn't even
started yet.
It's too easy. It's too easy. But I think today's game, though, more speaks to Thomas Frank than anything else. And I think what happened, especially after the second goal, because the second goal was just a gift. I think Thomas Frank kind of got ahead of his skis a little bit. Now, it's easy for us or for me to look back at the game that way and say, well, you know, I question the substitutions. I question, because I don't think if this was the Champions League final, I don't think he's making some of those substitutions. You cannot be up 2-0 and take your foot off the gas. And it looked like they took their foot off the gas. It looked like they were...
Spurs. Come on, Junior. I mean, Spurs don't have any... The mere fact that Spurs was up 2-0. In fact, Spurs themselves were surprised that they were leading PSG 2-0.
And who cares at that point? I don't care at that point. I am up 2-0 with 10 minutes leaving the game. I am not losing. And that should have been the mindset. And that was not the mindset. So that is a learning lesson. Lesson learned for Thomas Frank, hopefully. Hopefully he's not saying, well, you know, it was a good showing. I know that's what he's telling the media. You know, it's a great showing and we did well. And, you know, last year we finished, 16th or 14th or 13th. And this is the best team in the world. And we showed ourselves toe-to-toe. Listen, no. You were up 2-0 in a game with 10 minutes left. And you threw the game away. I don't care who you are. I don't care who you're playing against. You're up 2-0. The last 80 minutes is not a fluke. You should not have lost the game. And hopefully, Tottenham treats this as a wake-up call. Hopefully, Thomas Frank treats this as a wake-up call. If not, then we might be seeing the early hot seat warning for Tottenham, for coach in the Premier League.
Weird. No, but if I'm not mistaken, you were on the record as in the off-season saying Thomas Frank is one of the biggest idiots to take on the Spurs job, knowing that what Australian manager, former Spurs manager, Ange Postecoglou did. And essentially, he was escorted out of town. And Tottenham, of course, history with moving on from managers abruptly. Jose Mourinho comes to mind. So, based on what you saw, Thomas Frank, did he convince you that he's not that dumb in taking the Spurs job?
Of one game?
What I mean, we've had preseason, Junior. We've seen
Spurs
on tour.
I don't care about preseason.
Okay, you don't care
preseason. I don't care. I don't care about preseason.
Let's get to the Premier League, but congrats to Lucho Enriquez. And big up to the family watching us wherever you're watching us from. This is BCN Sports Tonight. This is the name of the new program. It's a call-in show. In fact, you know what? Let's get the call-in number up.
I've get my headphone if I do that.
You know, let's get the call-in. The phone
Who do we call in next week?
Family. You can call in at what? 770 toll free. Toll free 770-696-6040 for those who are inside the US. A toll free call, right?
Yeah.
And if you're on WhatsApp, you can call us at 352-745-0992 on WhatsApp, family. All right, let's get to it. English Premier League kicks off this Friday. Liverpool, the big side, will take on Bournemouth. Junior, you said at the top end of the preview is that Liverpool, surprisingly to many of us, has been very, very active and they're not done yet. We can't start this Liverpool discussion without what is going on with Alexander Isak, the intersect with Newcastle, Alexander Isak, and this desperation almost, well, maybe desperation is not the right word, but this commitment to try lure this player by Liverpool to Anfield. How does it pan out? Does Isak stay? Does he go to Liverpool? And how do you see this thing shaking out? First and foremost, before we get into the other news about Liverpool. And the latest update that you have heard regarding the news.
All right. What if we break this conversation down into different parts?
Because sorry, Junior. Fabi says pin the WhatsApp number. How we pin a number?
Well, you already have it up. Well, hold on.
Okay, Junior will drop it. Junior will drop it in the chat. So Alexander Isak, 110 million pounds. Liverpool bid was the bid to Newcastle for Isak from Liverpool. It seems Newcastle, of course, not seems they flatly rejected that offer. I think they're asking for somewhere in the vicinity of 150 million pounds. Junior, continue where you left off, family.
But like this will require like a blackboard, and it's a long conversation, and probably for the 3 Newcastle fans out there that are aware of ball chat, they will need some form of therapy session after this.
Junior, we have a lot of Newcastle fans that listen to ball chat in Ohio. Big up to Eric and the entire Columbus nation who listen to ball chat right now, drinking a few.
I think Eric might be considering changing his allegiance. As weird as that might sound for the 2 rush challenge, but no, trust me, Newcastle's all right. Let's pull back a little bit. Newcastle was already aware of that Isak wanted to leave. There were rumblings about Isak leaving from mid-season last year. Remember Newcastle under Eddie Howe, they have good little spurts and then all of a sudden them fall off. They will give you a good game here and let them lose a game or 2 that they should not be losing, right? Ever since then, there have been rumblings that Isak wants to leave. It's clear Newcastle expecting Isak to leave. Isak is under the impression that he is going to leave. Where Newcastle made a mistake was they wanted their cake and eat it too. They did not act like a big club. If you are a big club, you have no problem letting your baller walk. Your baller want to leave, go ahead. I can attract the next baller. Forget about Sesko right now. Forget about Sesko right now. Because remember, Arsenal use Gyökeres and Sesko, pit them against each other to get the best deal for Gyökeres. right? Which should have been the red flag to Newcastle. During that time, Liverpool came to Newcastle with over 100 million bid. Reportedly, and the way the reports kind of painted, Liverpool probably just came with one bid or two bids at max. But they gave the impression like this is the impression I got from the media. This is early days in the negotiation. Liverpool came to the table and made an offer and waiting on Newcastle to talk. Now Newcastle is saying, we need a replacement. We are not going to sell our big baller if we don't have a replacement. Arsenal just flirted with Sesko. There must be something in Sesko. Let us go for Sesko. And we publicly going out there and saying, Sesko, we want you here. Before we tell Liverpool yes or no. Liverpool sit down, I think, and pre that and say, you know what? Off the table. Move on the backside. You now accept the offer, we're done. Leave it. Leaving Newcastle now with Isak with nowhere to go. And now Victor Osimhen is already basically locked in for Galatasaray at the time. This are wherever in Turkey at the time, because they already gave him house and land here. You already lost Gyökeres. Isak is the next big striker. Sesko is the next hype striker. We have to get Sesko. So now it's full court press on Sesko. But I don't want to lose Isak if I don't have a Sesko replacement. And that flirtation is what killed them. Because right now, Liverpool is playing dead silent to them. Like, we don't care. You figure out is Isak on your own. Isak now saying, wait a minute. Me and you don't agree from mid-season, say me leaving. You get an offer that is way up there. And you don't accept the offer. But you know what I'm talking about. You want to get sorry, you want to get Sesko and leave me out there dangling like, no. I know I'm disgruntled. And that's where Newcastle is.
I'll rebut a little bit. And my rebuttal point are this. A couple of things. Of course, yeah, Newcastle should take some blame here for going into this transfer window without a director of football. Darren Eales, formerly of Atlanta United, stepped down during the leading into the season. Paul Mitchell also left. So you cannot go into the season in a major transfer window without a director of football to conduct these businesses, these transactions. With that being said, there is no way on this planet that Alexander Isak is going for 110 million pounds. He's pound for pound the best striker all round 9 in the English Premier League. Liverpool, you want the player forward with the bag. Alexander Isak is a better football player than Erling Haaland. Erling Haaland is a better goal scorer, higher conversion rate. But Isak can play left wing, Isak can create off the dribble, Isak can link up and connect all parts of the attacking set. And you think, say, 110 million pounds are going to get this brother off the books? Liverpool, I drink mad puss piss. Chelsea play $100 million for them bug ballers. And there's none of these ballers at the level of Alexander Isak. Let me get a sip of water. Forward with the 150 million pounds and the baller gone.
Are you done?
I am
You're
done.
done, right?
I am absolutely done.
So that statement from you right there is the reason why Isak is in the position that he's in right now. Because your valuation of him is high. And it's obvious. You're valuing Isak way up there.
Yes. I am valuing him way up there, yes.
All right. So look at the strikers that have already agreed. And so Fabi saying it was 110 with add-ons rising to 120. And Fabi, it doesn't matter.
Okay,
it could have been 150.
Appreciate that, Fabi, with an add-on of up to 120.
No, but it really don't matter. It could have been 150 million. Who cares? At the end of the day, Liverpool was the only team that forward with an offer. And how much did Gyökeres, remember, at the time, how much did Gyökeres sign for us? I'm not comparing, I'm not saying Gyökeres is equal to...
Invite us and tell us how much Gyökeres signed for us now.
I think it's something like 58 million pounds or something.
And why do we think Gyökeres went for 50 or 8, if between 50 and 80 million, whatever the value is?
No, he had a release clause, but that's not the point. That's not the point. No, not a release clause.
That is very important.
No, that's not. No, it's not. What is important is the market was set. You set the market by having a striker going. The first striker that goes in is 55 million. So Fabi said 55 million pounds, which turned out to be like $60 million. Pound dollars depends on how your exchange rate. But 55 million. The market was set there, right? So when Liverpool forward 110, but the transfer market is the transfer market. You have personal value and you have position value. The position value, the big striker, the big piece came off the board in Gyökeres. That was the first coveted piece. Isak is sitting there, and you know saying you value is Isak high. It don't matter what you value him at, you are saying I value this baller high. Liverpool look and say Gyökeres went for 55 million. Newcastle, I am coming to you with 110 million. I am telling you that baller, I am looking at Arsenal and saying, your 55 million baller, I am buying a baller that is twice as valuable as your big striker when you just signed. And Newcastle, like a damn idiot, sit on there and say, no, that don't match my valuation. And we did this during the season, and and look, business is business. Let me word this properly. Business is business. We have the human side of football, but business is business. I'm not going to say Newcastle did this. However, the untimely passing of Diogo Jota made Liverpool seem more desperate than they needed to be. And I think that affected the way how Newcastle reacted to them coming to the table, because you're doubling the value. You have to replace Jota. You went and said Isak is the best striker in the Premier League. You went and said Isak can play off the left wing as much as being a striker. Doesn't that sound like Diogo Jota to you? So maybe the Newcastle people have said on there, say, oh, no. You're desperate. You need this signing. But Liverpool sit on there and say, but wait. So you think my scouts only scouting him? Etiquette, come. Because them people are mad people. Me offer 110 million.
Even with the transfer, you still interested in Alexander Isak, because you haven't solved that problem.
No, it doesn't matter. This is my point. It does. No. Let me stress the point here, though. Why it doesn't matter. The player is human. The player wants to go to Liverpool. The worst thing that Newcastle can ever have happen to them is for the player that is disgruntled, that is highly valued, is saying, I only want to go to that team. Because guess what? As the days go by, that 110 million is going to change to 100, going to change to 95, going to change to 90. And when it comes to deadline day, it might even be 70. If Liverpool really want to be ruthless, it will be 70 million them offering.
And there's
and you just wait, you said 110.
Let me rebuttal point to that, to those comments about. I do agree that the player will have to go in this transfer window, because you let him hang around, his value is gonna deteriorate, especially at this level of public spot between the club and the player. The player already got his head turned by Liverpool. I like Isak. I think both clubs should do a business deal. But you, on the other hand, mention 55 million for a release clause for Gyökeres. A brother who
No, it wasn't a release clause.
What was the release clause?
I think
Whatever he has a release clause in it. What is Isak release clause? That was inserted into his contract. I think it's at 110 million pounds or something like that. All right. Now, you have a player in Gyökeres that you're saying that Gyökeres value determine the market. A man who failed at Brighton. Yes, he's done well.
No, that
wait now. A man who failed at Brighton, didn't play a lot of games, didn't get the minutes because he didn't impress the coaching staff of Brighton. Let's call it what it is. He's gone abroad and done quite well, and Arsenal is getting potentially a much better player. But be that as it may, Alexander Isak is still head and shoulders above this player because of the ability to not only create for the rest of the group in that front three, but the ability to score from anywhere on the park. Alexander Isak is top shelf striker. So pays top shelf money, which is 150 million pounds. Simple.
Who are you telling that to?
I'm telling that to Liverpool. I'm telling that to Liverpool.
You cannot force Liverpool.
150 million pounds, so the man them
all right, so
them life.
So then if I am Liverpool, I am saying, oh, you want 150 million? I'm not paying it.
Okay.
What are you going to say after that?
So then we're in a stalemate. I mean, no, Newcastle definitely will have a problem because he's too expensive a player, i.e., he's a large wage, a large earner on their books, and they cannot have him sitting on the bench. But now this player is saying that he doesn't want to play. We have seen other clubs in the past said, all right, you don't want to play. Every time you decide to stay at your yard, we're going to charge you every day when you're not forward. Clubs have done that.
We saw that with Tony Pulis and Sadio Berahino, and Berahino was never the same.
But there's been a recent one of that, right? So it's a two-way street because technically Newcastle need two strikers.
But Benton, this is the problem. This is the problem with your argument. You are forwarding with the thoughts of everybody in mind. I am Liverpool. I don't care about anything we just said. You decide, I am giving you 110 million. Do you like it or not? If you think it's disrespectful and you feel disrespected, okay, sell him to whoever wants him then. Because you now run the risk of pissing me off. And when you piss me off, I gone. And when I gone, you are stuck with Isak on the books. Me being Liverpool, I don't care. That's not my problem. That's your problem now. So you have to approach these negotiations with kids' gloves. It have to become a negotiation, and it didn't sound like it was a it doesn't sound like any negotiations have occurred. What it sounds like is Liverpool say, here's 110, and I just look it up. His release clause is 110. So what it sounds like Liverpool is doing is Liverpool is saying, here's 110 million for Isak. Take it or leave it. And Newcastle is sitting down there and say, wait, wow, what do you mean by 110? Hold on, let's talk about this. Liverpool turned back and walked away. I say, yo, the money is there now. You talk to me when you feel like to talk to me. And then all you are going to see in the news are just sign etiquette.
And that's fine. But Newcastle has 3 years remaining on Alexander Isak's contract. And contracts are meant to
Whose problem is that?
There's nothing permanent in this business. But the Saudi fund that funds the Saudi player fund that funds Newcastle should have money stashed away to be able to supplement the need to go out and get another player. I mean, the problem here that makes this thing so much difficult is Alexander Isak making these public statements or saying that he wants to leave. All you have to just tell the club, say you want to take for yourself. And then work out a deal and keep it moving. That's simple.
But again, you're talking from all sides. You have to pick a side if we're going to have this conversation.
Liverpool forward with the man them 100 and...
You can't tell Liverpool for forward with the
this
money.
Is business. And in business, you want to get things for cheap. But remember in life, it's two can... Because you're going to have a ball where you want to get rid of, and somebody are going to screw you on the other side, right? This is business, But have some integrity, man. This brother is not rate 110 million pounds. Pay the man them 150 million pounds and keep it moving.
His release clause is 110 million.
And did you think they tried to increase it to 150 million and Isak wouldn't let them?
So that, okay. So there's a problem now.
Because I'm sure Liverpool, someone from Liverpool have spoken to Isak's camp and convinced him to put pressure on Newcastle to let him go. He has 3 years remaining on his contract.
He doesn't have a release clause. Because if he had a release clause, all right, so let me fix up that reporting. If Isak had a release clause, there would have been no negotiation. And if the release clause was 110, it would have just been the 110 paid, would trigger the release clause. Newcastle is now out of the picture. So that's not the case. So let's fix up that part of the argument.
And big up Michelle. Michelle said something here. Michelle said Liverpool put the idea in Isak's head and signed his replacement, Eketeke, then lowball the price of Isak to Newcastle. Liverpool have moved like duppy bat if them do that.
And who cares?
Liverpool fans them can't support that.
But what do you mean by they can't support that? Who cares? Arsenal did the same thing with Gyökeres and Sesko.
Yeah,
who cares at the end of the day?
In a minute. We'll get to Gyökeres in a minute.
No, but it's the same thing.
Arsenal desperate to try to do a thing means it's the standard way we have a conduct business.
No. Let's not get it twisted. Liverpool unfortunately lost Jota.
Yes.
Liverpool was already on record saying that they were going to get rid of Luis Diaz, who is already at Bayern Munich.
Yeah, Liverpool's on record as saying them. Oh, you go on record and say I get rid of a man.
We all knew.
Get rid of him.
We all knew Luis Diaz was.
Well, you were on record. We don't want you coming.
We spoke about it on Ball Chat.
Well, so we knew Liverpool. So Liverpool wasn't on record as saying they're getting rid of Luis Diaz.
They knew Luis Diaz was leaving this summer. It's obvious.
Fair enough. But
it's
Liverpool,
obvious.
The facts are Liverpool didn't publicly say them I get rid of Luis Diaz.
There's nothing wrong with what Liverpool. I said Michelle saying ruthless Liverpool. Ruthless behavior for Liverpool. There's nothing wrong with that. The team that come out looking like they are small fry is Newcastle. And I never thought about it until you said it. And this is the impact of not having a sporting director. And that's the biggest point right now. Not having a sporting director, not having that central piece of information or direction. No direction. Because remember they had before the Atlanta United brother. Remember they had the guy that went to Manchester United that went on the farmer's leave last year and he left the job after like 2 months at Man U. I can't remember the sporting director.
Yes.
From Brighton.
Yes.
He was at Brighton first, then he went to Newcastle. Dan Ashworth.
Yes.
This is the result of not having a sporting director. Because if you had a sporting director, Isak would have never been at Newcastle right now. They would have never.
Fair enough. I do agree with that point that they should have gone in. But I know Darren Eales, a wonderful guy from here in Atlanta. Last year I recently reported about the cancer situation and how he's getting care and trying to. But how this one ends up though? I mean, Newcastle will let go Isak for what amount, Junior?
I don't know what amount they will let him go for, but they better let him go early because the closer this gets to deadline day, don't be surprised if a Juventus come calling. and Napoli come calling. Napoli kind of have a need for a striker right now. You know?
Yeah, but that's another club that also did stupid decisions, and we'll get to Victor Osimhen.
That's not a super. That's a choice.
We'll get to Serie A in a few weeks, but that's a whole nother club, and I don't feel sorry for Napoli. De Laurentiis, the one of who I don't really rate too much.
But the closer this gets to transfer deadline day, is the more sharks going to come lurking.
Yes,
and when those sharks come lurking closer to deadline day, the value is going to go down. It's not going to be a bidding war. It's going to be a beauty contest at that time. And Isak is going to have to pick the best offer from a team.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think the Newcastle and I presume Liverpool, because he wants to go to Liverpool, I think he'll be outstanding if healthy. Now, granted, he does have a injury history problem, and that may be the point at which Liverpool push and negotiate from and say, I don't think the Napoli or Juventus can afford Isak still. I don't think they can.
Our Champions League money, we spoke about it at the start of the show. That Champions League money makes a difference. They can afford it.
I don't think them have bills to pay. All right, let's get to Liverpool transfers and what we expect from Liverpool coming up this season in the English Premier League and across different leagues. Of course, FA Cup, Champions League, big side. Players notably in Ekateke, which you mentioned, and the big, aka the cheat code, as some Liverpool fans call him, Florian Wirtz. They've gotten Milos Kerkagis and Jeremy Frimpong Jr. and Luis Diaz, Trent Arnold, and others. Your thoughts on Liverpool business so far? And I want to specifically ask, is Florian Wirtz overhyped? Because me a lot of I watched Bayer Leverkusen a lot last year, and I mean, I don't see it. I don't get it. But
I don't know about the overhyped thing, but he has to prove himself. Okay. Before, where his value was, he was a top baller.
Okay.
Now you're in some big money territory. You're going to have to bring some big money results. For Liverpool, I think they made some great signings. I think Frimpong, look, forget about the biased English media. Frimpong better than Trent Arnold. He's a better option than Trent Arnold. Better.
In what aspect? What
every
what
aspect.
To get from him?
Every aspect.
I disagree.
He overlaps better.
Well, I guess
he's
the season
faster.
start already because we disagreeing a lot.
But apart from a good cross,
I have specifics. So I will let you go ahead and then I'll tell you my difference between the two.
For me, Frimpong is just a better player.
Okay, he's a better player. Okay.
He's just a better, for me, it's just that simple. He's just a better wing back than Trent. And the jury will be out of Wirtz, the jury will be out of Etiqueta, but I think they made some good signings. Unfortunately, the untimely death of Jota, I think, kind of derailed them a little bit. Darwin Núñez, should we say late departure, however you want to describe it, that might have an effect on them. But big up to Kevin, Farmer, I'm still the by show, but the Ras that started ball chat with us, met him that talk the other day, and he cannot understand why Liverpool hasn't signed a defender. And I think that is the one Achilles heel for Liverpool right now, is they should have been ruthless. We talk about Liverpool being ruthless in the transfer market. For all the good signing that they did, they should have never re-signed Virgil. They should have faded Virgil out.
I flat out disagree with that and say I drink mud piss regarding Virgil van Dijk.
All right.
Football family, remember to smash the like button, send on your comments. Let's get through some of the comments. Michelle says Núñez was a flop, so we all knew Liverpool was on the market for a striker. Yes, can Napoli and Juve afford Isak? Liverpool go in as faves, won the league and refreshed with some good signings. I think that Liverpool is desperately in need of a defender. I like the re-signing of Virgil van Dijk, Giovanni Leone, a young defender outside of, I think he's at Palermo. Liverpool is interested in and I think securing his services. Of course, they're in the market for Guehi. And if Liverpool is able to secure the services of Guehi from Crystal Palace, you can pack up. I think you can pack up the Premier League if they're able to secure Guehi and Alexander Isak. If players remain healthy, they will be outstanding, and I think they will repeat. My concern for Liverpool, if they don't get the centre-back in, is the worry that Ibrahim Konate has done a lot over the last few seasons, recovering, especially in a team that sometimes play a high line. They like to get up the field. Virgil van Dijk cannot do that recovery as much, and so Ibrahim Konate has to do that work, and we've known that Ibrahim Konate picks up injuries here and there. So Liverpool must get a defender before the window closes. Must get one. Before we leave Liverpool, Mohamed Salah, 33 years old. He is the straw that stirs this Liverpool drink when it comes to the attacking side of things last year. If Mohamed Salah flops this year or falls off significantly, does Liverpool have enough backup, enough support to win the Premier League?
100%. And this was,
because them have a brother sitting over there named Cody Gapco, who now really do nothing,
All right, okay. I was about to say I'm in mid-season form. You are in mid-season form. But I said this earlier in Come On Football Group. What I saw in the Community Shield, even though they lost, what I saw in the Community Shield is that Liverpool, and more specifically Mohamed Salah, this year will be afforded the opportunity to be a passenger to a team's greatness in some games that he is not necessarily needed in. When I posted that comment and I read it again, I said, Mike, this is some ESPN FC stuff. I was proud of myself when I said that. And when I think about it, I'm 100% right. Especially if they get Alexander Isak.
100% right, and you didn't even have the evidence to support the position yet.
I don't need the evidence. That's how great it is.
BCN Sports kicking off in 5 months. So he make a claim and he 100% right, and the season hasn't started yet.
Hey, you ever cook some rice and peas yet? And I know some people do them thing differently. When me cook my rice and peas, me mix my coconut milk, cook it down, and season it with some water. You ever get the seasoning so right into the rice and peas with the coconut milk that when you taste the coconut milk, we don't put the peas in there yet, we don't put the rice in there, but you taste the you say, yo, and you start dancing, you say, yo, you know the food out taste good.
Yeah.
That is how great that comment was, Benton. Because what I saw in the Community Shield is Liverpool, like you said, last year, Salah was a straw that stirred that cup. What I saw in the Community Shield is the potential for Liverpool to be dynamic from different areas of the field. They never had that last year. So now Salah can be afforded to have a half game where he is the passenger in the game while Liverpool still remains dominant. And I think Friday we will see that a little bit. Now, they do have a weakness in the way they approach the games because they play so high. And Fabi said they needed Virgil's leadership. Cool. Virgil can be a great leader sitting on the bench. But you being that high and that slow, Liverpool can be caught off the counter. And that is the one Achilles heel for Liverpool. I think that might dent them a little bit this year, but going forward, I think they'll be very dynamic.
Do they get Guehi from Crystal Palace?
It's out there.
We spend a lot of time here upon Liverpool, of course, defending champion.
Yeah, but the reason why I'm buck shuffling because Crystal Palace going to play in Europe as well. Not where they were supposed to be, but they're going to play in Europe. They can't give up all them ballers. We even see Wharton.
It's Crystal Palace. Time to make our money.
But will they get a replacement?
Time to make our money. Grow one. I mean,
so to answer your question, I'm gonna say no. They're not gonna get.
You know what? I know I'm pick on English. You know what? I chat to a brethren from England one day and a Liverpool fan. The man say, you know what? I mean, I say, yo, we yard man them with the England so long with an English accent deep. Yo, if I am Newcastle, anytime I see Liverpool on the road, I kick them in the body. Because Guehi was a player heavily targeted by Newcastle last year. So all these so-called prospects that Newcastle was interested in and was luring. Last year they spent a whole transfer window trying to convince Guehi to forward. And now he might end up, if he ends up going to Liverpool, I mean, come on, you kick, nah man, would I kick Liverpool now about him, man? Come on. If I am a Newcastle fan and you see a Liverpool man on the road, I should kick him now about it.
But I kick and miss. Because all Newcastle fans have been doing is been missing. So he doesn't want to kick and miss.
They don't have Isak. Anthony Gardner will be leading the line for them against Aston.
And Elanga. Remember they signed Elanga. So Fabi Fano said that
we signed a centre back today. That's the
Giovanni Leone, yeah.
Leone.
Michel says
Michel is highlighting a young player, Rio Negoho. Promising young player, right, Michel? I think we saw him in the FA Cup.
Yep.
For Liverpool, so.
And he's only 16 years old.
Yeah.
Young baller, very young baller. But look, especially with Liverpool, and I'm sorry, Liverpool fans, we saw Ryan Brewster and all of these young players come through already. Let's hold off a little bit.
Julian, you've always, I must defend Liverpool nation here. You always look at the opportunity. You're always looking to bring in the failure of Ryan Brewster at Liverpool. Come on, man.
No, but that's not only for Liverpool. That for all the teams out there that is highlighting these young ballers.
You're the same one who always remind us, when are we going to hold these players responsible when it comes to Marcus Rashford? Which we'll get to sometime later. Football family. Szoboszlai. Does he stay? Does he go? Discussion about Szoboszlai could be odd man out in this midfield. Ryan Birch, Gravenberch had a great year last year, so now they get benched.
Yeah, you have to have a buyer with that matches the valuation. So, hey, you know, you talk about Idris Gueye. Don't be surprised if Liverpool takes that 110 million off Newcastle table and go right down to Brighton and say, believer. Come on, go to Manchester United. Come over here.
Maybe he's not $100 million baller. And
who is that $100 million baller?
This is a player who I follow very closely. Is a player who is a very potentially good midfielder, but he is still raw around the edge. Nah, man, at $50 million at most, you can pay for that, brother.
But Belieber?
Yes, $50 million most for Belieber. Go back and watch the Brighton tape them. No, actually, no. Manchester United can pay the 100 million for him.
I am hoping Man U pay 90 and 10, of course.
Okay, fine, great. I will open up here 150 for him. All right, moving on to the other team. Fully active, fully loaded. The runners-up last year in the English Premier League. Junior, I think we have to kick off the assessment of this team's off-season and the upcoming Premier League season with, if not now, when? Talk to me about the Gunners, Junior. The gun fully loaded.
Yo, Arsenal's only problem this year is going to be Michail Arteta. That's it. They have absolutely no weakness. None but the coach. That's it. This year, they fortified their team. And this is another nugget. I am 100% sure, hypothetically speaking, the game this Sunday, Man U versus Arsenal, if you were to flip coaches, if you were to give Ruben that Arsenal team, and you give Arteta that Man U team, Arsenal probably score about 8. That is how dynamic and strong I think that Arsenal roster is. But because of Arteta, we have to prove himself to me. He really does. Worse if they get Eze. If they get Eze,
Ibricha Eze would be a huge signing. Kepa Gyökeres, Noni Madueke made a move also from Chelsea. And it's not really talked about a lot, but I think the Noni man Madueke will be quite helpful for this football club. And Christian Norgard is a useful midfielder. Will give them some support with Thomas Partey leaving. But the Zubimendi has to adapt to a new club, a new environment, a new league.
No. Zubimendi fits this team like a glove. And Zubimendi and Declan Rice. Like Sunday, make you know right now, I am not watching the game Sunday. I go church.
Vulture will be fully loaded and fully active doing a watch along Sunday. Even if
I will do the watch along Saturday morning. I think that's the Man City game.
BCN Sports will be fully active doing watch along on Sunday for the Man United. We're going to excuse Junior for the Arsenal versus Man United game.
But they're at church because Zubimendi and Declan Rice is going to terrorize the Premier League this year. I'm telling you that right now.
And when you say terrorize, elaborate. They're midfielders. Where they're gonna break up
the best midfield pair,
break up, connect. What
they're going to be the best
looks like in juniors.
They're going to be the best midfield pair in the Premier League.
And they haven't even stepped a minute on the grass in the Premier League together yet.
And I'm telling you right now, they're going to dominate the Premier League.
Okay. Because it's important that we set some metrics out there for this thing, because we can just throw words out there about dominate, and then the next man forward and say, well, that's what I meant by dominate. What would be a high achievement?
I'm not give you any goals or assists or whatever, but let me think of David Silva. Now, I wouldn't even say David Silva. Fernandinho and who was his partner all those years at Man City? I remember Fernandinho, and I know Fernando was there, but he wasn't
a partner, brother. A 4-3-3 run, and him sit down in a hole by himself. Have David Silva roll one side and rotate, come get some ball off of him. Fernandinho was a gangster. It's all them looking nowadays, fresh force-ripe CDMs who need help. Play a double pivot.
We saw what Declan Rice did at the Bernabeu, right? We agree on that, right?
Yeah, he was outstanding.
All right. Absolutely outstanding. I know you put a second baller that can do the same thing that Declan Rice does, and they are now playing together.
Okay.
They are going to be formidable. I cannot think of a better midfield in the Premier League.
So, and just to remind myself, I think that Man City midfield was Fernandinho, Yaya Toure, and David Silva, right?
But after Yaya Toure,
Okay.
so it's Fernandinho and a young the German will leave last year.
Gundogan.
That first year.
Okay.
When Gundogan arrived, I'm pretty sure Fernandinho was there. That midfield, that was when Man City was Man City. I'm talking poisonous. That is what I'm seeing from Arsenal potentially this year. So this is really, 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 really high praise. Michelle saying Chelsea's midfield is lit. We're so talking about Caicedo and Enzo. But I'm telling you guys right now, Declan Rice and Zubimendi, they are going to demolish the league this year. Arsenal already is used to having 70% of the ball. I don't think they had that engine. They had Declan Rice, but they never had a partner for Declan Rice. They had somebody there where Declan Rice can say, "I'm gone," and you handle the back for me for a little bit. Thomas Partey couldn't stay on the field because he was always injured. Jorginho was there for a cup of coffee, him gone. Now they have two very good pieces. I'm telling you right now, that's the signing of the summer. Zubimendi to Arsenal. I love Madueke. I love Eze. I love that Martinelli will not be needed to start.
You love who? Eze?
Eze, if they get him. If they get him, we're talking about Arsenal. I love the fact that Martinelli will not be dependent on. I love the fact that Kai won't be dependent on to be a number 9 anymore. But Zubimendi signing of the summer. Say it right now.
Well, I think basically for Arsenal, and big up to all the Gunners who listen to Ball Chat week in and week out. Big up family. I think it's a couple points, a couple things. One question first and foremost for Arsenal Football Club. 3 years in a row, them play number 2. If not now, when? It's a win or nothing year this year. In fact, we played that tune at the end of the season about another trophyless season. We don't want to play that tune again this year. We do not want to play that tune again when it comes around to me. And big up to the artist. Arsenal, Gyökeres was always, the striker position was always the big hole. Last year, Kai Havertz led them with 9 goals. Now, this guy Gyökeres, he will take a little bit of time to kind of blend in. He will take a little, but the quicker he gets settled in and starts scoring goals, the better it is for Arsenal Football Club. In fact, this Sunday against Man United, if somehow, shape or form, he can score a hat-trick or score 2 goals, and just even one, just back up aside, that will really kind of help his confidence settle in. And, because it's essential that Arsenal starts fast and stay at a high level. Michail Antonio and some has made comments around Arsenal about intimidating the opponents and rolling back the protective cover where people walk, where teams walk out. You don't need those things. Win football games and you intimidate opponents. Simple. That's what Arsenal needs to do. They've made the investments. Now it's time to go ahead and execute it. Saliba and Gabriel have to stay healthy. No more of this set piece foolishness. We need a set piece goal. Saka has a backup now in Madueke. I mean, we saw last year when Saka went down how their season went off the rails.
Yep.
So we saw it at Chelsea. One of the criticisms that we had with Madueke was his reluctance to share the football at Chelsea. And enough time we sit down and watch Chelsea and we say, yo, why you pass the ball? Now it's important that Madueke recognize that he's going into a football club where he has to just be a part of the group. There are bigger stars there. Junior, Martin Odegaard. Can this man lead this team to this title?
I think the signings were made so that he doesn't have to lead them to the title. So that question, I think,
there's gonna be games against those big opponents, right? The Man Cities of the world, the Liverpools of the world, where those signings may not necessarily bring to bear what they have, because you're equally going up against high level talent on the other side. So when the chips are down in these big games on the field, you look to your captain to guide you sometimes through these things.
Okay, but sometimes captains guide you through the things not only by playing, but sometimes them motivate and talk you through it. If that's the question that you're asking, I don't think Odegaard has that quality in him. But if you think that, if you're trying to get me to sign off on Odegaard as being a transitional player or a next generation baller that finally get the help around him, no, he's not that. I'm sorry, he's not.
So if they sign Easy, does Odegaard go to the bench?
Not to the bench, but you take less, you take more pressure off of him, or there's less pressure added to him because now you have better pieces around him. So the expectation that is when Odegaard gave you 100% last year, Arsenal required probably 10 or 15 more percent for them to get over the hump that he couldn't offer. If Odegaard can give his same 100% this year, when you have better pieces around him now, then yes, it will be a group effort for them to get over the top. But Odegaard is not, I don't think he has that potential. I could be wrong, but I don't rate him as that baller. I don't rate him as like a Zinedine Zidane or a Pirlo.
No, man. No.
Yeah, so no, the answer is no. He's not going to bring them.
Insult to them, to them general.
Exactly.
You know. Continuing our EPL preview, family. This is Ball Chat, EPL football show, preview show, Ball Chat tonight, or BCN tonight, not Ball Chat, BCN tonight. Junior, we're taking another look at the FIFA Club World Cup champs, the one and only, the indisputable champs of all of football, Chelsea Football Club. Chelsea dominated the FIFA Club World Cup by butter bruising PSG.
Before we get there, son. Well, before we get, Michelle asked a question, and before let's just put a bow on Arsenal. She said, "Do you think Arsenal have solved the issue on the left? Last season, nothing came from that side; it was dead. In other words, Martinelli was useless. Do you think, with the signings that they have made, do you think the left side would still be a problem?"
You still can float Madueke on the left. You have to be able to float one of these players on the left. Saka may have to float over there sometimes. I look at this as an upgrade in talent. No, ideally it would be nice to have a perfect, an out and out left winger. But I think they're better than they were, because Martinelli, Gabriel Martinelli wasn't cutting it. Leandro Trossard did give them something, but he was missing. He missed a few sitters in a big game or two. So I think that they have upgraded on the left a little bit. The overall attacking front.
All right, so we'll see how it ends up then.
So what say you?
I agree. And you're not going to be not every team have the ability to be world class at all, from all positions, but you just want to be serviceable. And I think they have enough pieces that they can be serviceable on the left.
I will say... go ahead, Joe.
In players, you don't want to have a round peg in a square hole, or a square peg in a round hole situation. So do they have a left-sided winger? What a young youth name? Maybe this is an opportunity for the young baller to grow into that position. I don't need that man. Nathan Myers what about?
No, so I am a huge fan of Ethan Waneri.
Yes.
And I've watched him closely. He's traditionally normally floats on the right wing, but I think he's a player that I expect a lot from him this year for Arsenal Football Club. And he's almost like a baller who gives me the impression that he can float out to that side and give them something. Now, granted, if you want to win Premier League, you can't just hope, say, you find something on the left. You need to make sure you have a plan to know that, you know, you have something over there.
Right.
So, all right. Other new teams I want to touch tonight as we preview the English Premier League. Chelsea Football Club family. Like as mentioned, they won the FIFA Club World Cup. Champions League football coming, of course. João Pedro joined the group. I thought João Pedro was absolutely impressive. They kick off the season against Crystal Palace. Junior, your thoughts on Chelsea?
I think Chelsea is one of the unknowns because they're still as good as they did in the Club World Cup, which I think there's some banter there from you when you talk about them. I just feel I kind of sense you have your hands on the rug and you just ready to pull it from underneath your feet because I don't really put that much stock in the Club World Cup. I just see it as a glorified preseason tournament. But they still need to replace Nicholas Jackson. And
what do you mean they still need to replace Nicholas Jackson? What are you talking about?
What do you mean by they need us? You think Dilap is it? I don't think so.
João Pedro is it. He instantly gave them how many goals in the FIFA Club World Cup?
Fair enough. So then we're going to say then that they are primed and ready again. All right. So let me I would take that point and I accept what you just said. And plus they have Esteval that they're going to work in. I don't know where he's going to put it.
Esteval.
Right. So Chelsea comes down to their midfield, and which Michelle said that their midfield is lit. Enzo and Caicedo at times last year looked lost at sea. They kind of right the ship a little bit towards the end, but there were times last year. Unfortunately for Chelsea, it wasn't happening at the same time. But there are times where Caicedo was lost, and there are times when Enzo was lost. If they can figure themselves out, I think Chelsea will be formidable.
I am very excited about Estevao. I hope he does see the football field. You know what? Chelsea last year started out the season well, and then there was the whole discussion about are they in a title race, and then things went off the rails. But there is this youthfulness about this football club that what I call it, youthful exuberance, youthful arrogance, whatever it may be, that might help this football club push competitively close to that top 2, top 3 sort of position. Now, I'm not saying that Chelsea is going to win the Premier League, but what I saw from Chelsea in the FIFA Club World Cup, and yes, it's a cup competition, but there is no way on the face of this planet that I expected Chelsea to obliterate PSG like they did. I mean, they blew them off the park. And that tells me that this team has taken on the personality of the manager, Enzo Maresca, who's very feisty, very fiery. This team has reinforced that midfield with Romeo Lavia when he's healthy. And they have to keep him healthy. That steel, Caicedo might be excellent, but Romeo Lavia is such a good player for this football club. And they need to keep him healthy. I like Chelsea. I like them a lot. I think João Pedro is a baller. And he will get a lot of opportunities to score. And he will convert a lot more efficiently than Nicholas Jackson. Plus, the one thing that was quite noticeable with the Nicholas Jackson and the Madueke It almost seems like there was some sort of vibes go on between the ballers them sometimes.
Yeah.
Do you get that sentiment?
I agree.
And I think with that being said, I expect Chelsea to start the season hot and continue. And if you can win a few games, who knows? Who knows? We saw what happened last year, Junior. You start the season hot and then you just go from there and then let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah.
You know, but
I agree. I agree, and I think they'll definitely be one to watch. I think they will push that second spot, and you never know. You never know with all these teams building out their rosters and getting so top heavy. It comes down to chemistry, and like I said, that they've taken on the mindset. Mind you, you're basing all of this on one game now. Let's pull back on that a little bit.
You're right.
They only played, as far as I'm concerned, they only played one serious game in the Club World Cup, which was the PSG game. All the other games were winnable, and that would have probably been Maresca's easiest coaching job to in terms of motivating a team. You have an opportunity to play against a team that just won the Champions League 3-4 weeks ago. Go out there and play your best. And they did, which to their credit, they did. Let's see what Chelsea looks like when they have to travel to Leeds in February, when outside is minus 10 degrees. Let's see what Chelsea show up. And I think that's where the jury will be out. They have the team, they have the potential, they have the signings. Will they be motivated the whole season to compete with Liverpool and Arsenal? That's left to be seen.
Yeah, the youthful thing is the big question for me with Chelsea. How does the youth? Because another year of experience, and you don't have to rely on Cole Palmer only. I mean, other players are there with this João Pedro addition. Pedro Neto did quite well for them last year. You got rid of Jadon Sancho. I noticed that what going with my bridge in Raheem Sterling, because I'm looking at this list of players that are out at Chelsea, and it's one bag. Yo, about 50 men on this year. Who the pan loan and who the... what is going on with Raheem Sterling? Any news? Michelle, what about Raheem Sterling?
You want football news or life news? I think Sterling is transitioning into common, normal day life.
Oh, they're still trying to get football fan cast. Sunderland can land bigger coup. So maybe Sunderland, who's a new boy in the Premier League, may lure Sterling. They've signed what, Xhaka, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Just a few more teams before we get to our EPL prediction. Man City family, the big dog who fell off immensely last year, wasn't very active in this transfer window, but they did a lot of business in the January window. Junior, your thoughts on Man City's summer, and do you expect them to make any other moves?
They need to make moves, and that's a team that I found very disappointing. I found it very disappointing what they did in the transfer market, because looking at what happened last year, looking at how they barely made it to the Champions League, let's call a spade a spade. There was a moment coming towards the next season, we were sitting down saying, will it be Newcastle? Will it be Man City? Right? And Pep Guardiola, with what went through with his personal life, and now reportedly things kind of settled down there. We can say now the coach can focus on football. Looking at how him entering the season, it seems to me more like Man City have been more focused on shedding the dead weight, i.e. Jack Grealish and company, more than building up the side. And maybe their approach is we get better by subtraction. We will see, because notice what I said, Chelsea, they can compete for second plus push first. I did not call Man City name. I said Liverpool or Arsenal. That's where I think Man City is. I think Man City is fourth. I really do. And I don't know if there's a big signing out there that they can get or should get. I don't know. Because they have talent. It's just that most of them is unproven right now. Now is the time. Will the next set of ballers step up to the plate? We see Savinho reportedly, Tottenham looking at Savinho. What the hell going on there, sir? So we'll see. I think there's a big mystery there around Man City, though.
Yeah, that the Savinho to the Tottenham potential. In fact, like you mentioned, as they get closer to deadline day or the window closing, so to speak, some of these players may end up moving and their value will drop. And so a player like Savinho, who, if Man City, if the reports are to be believed, if Man City is ready to offload it in Savinho already, that means that they might say, yo, brother, you're not ready for video light. And I thought, yes, he started the season well, but he faded later on when they were looking to him to kind of ignite that rally. They signed Omar Marmoush, who was huge. But I think also regarding Savinho is the fact that Oscar Bob is now back. Oscar Bob, one of the promising young players that came through the academy, was outstanding before he picked up that injury. I think Makati also has been doing Makati has been doing well for them also. So I do expect Man City to surge this year. This year I do expect a resurgence from them. And to be honest with you, when we get to our pick, I'm really tossing around picking this team, because you mentioned something about shedding dead weight. They've shedded the Kevin De Bruyne, who is an outstanding player, but the big wage. They've shedded the Jack Grealish, move him on to Everton on loan. And it seems like now they have a healthy Erling Haaland, but in the January window they added quite a few players. Defensively, Kazanov and Marmoush. And if you get those players a summer preseason to work together, then I expect Pep Guardiola and Man City to essentially to be flying out the gates at the beginning of the Premier League against Wolves.
And Michelle have a great point bringing up that Rodrick. I remember Rodrick had an injury setback, yes. So he's out until September.
Yes.
And I wouldn't bank on Rodrick. I always thought when Rodrick was fighting to come back at the end of the season last year, I always thought that was craziness. I always thought not no go so. Yes. And I'm not banking on Rodrick coming back and being a factor till way late. We don't really want to talk about the bug. We don't talk about the bug side then, because we already had for a long time. But with the baller, the gambler, with that weight lifted from over his head, when will Pep and Man City go knocking at West Ham door and saying for Lucas Paqueta? I mean, that to me is just match made.
But would you still make that commitment when you already you put down $60 million for Nico Gonzalez, who in the January transfer window you went and got him because of Rodri. Marcus, you picked up Regenders from Milan for undisclosed fee. Do you still look back at Lucas Paqueta? Do you still explore that?
Yes. Paqueta can play anywhere in the midfield. Anywhere. He can be deployed anywhere. He can even play as a 10. So yes. He checks all the boxes. Yes. And he's proven. He's Premier League proven. Yes.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if they, we don't know what's the situation with Phil Foden. I think he's out injured, and Bernardo Silva will be the team captain this year. So, I mean...
Which is a testimonial. Bernardo Silva is getting a testimonial here. Phil Foden, I always felt I even said it last year that move on from Phil Foden. He needs a new challenge. Paqueta fit the bill. Yes.
How much would you pay for?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. And Paqueta, I don't think Paqueta will go more than 80.
And that's the thing.
I think.
And that's the thing with I think I saw a report in the either at the end of the season or into the summer, where Pep Guardiola might be winding it down at Man City, right? Did you see a report where this might be his last year? He's gonna take a break or something like this. So from a club standpoint, do you want to make that sort of investment in a potentially a Lucas Paqueta at such high value when you know that Pep might be out? You might be a total different manager next year who's gonna probably take the club a different direction.
And it doesn't matter. Paqueta fits any
and fit with him gambling. Well, allegedly.
He's not allegedly anymore. He's free.
He's free. He's not alleged anymore.
So yes, I would definitely.
Send all lawsuits to BCN Sports, not me.
And big up to Michelle. Michelle saying Rangers is very impressive.
Yeah.
How you pronounce the name?
And Ryan Cherokee also. They signed Ryan Cherokee. So I mean, I think I expect Man City to be back challenging for Premier League title this year. And if they secure Erling Haaland, if he's fit, he should be banging in the goals again. I am still a bit crazy concerned about this Savinho situation. I expect Doku should be the odd man out. So you expect Doku to move, right?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think I'm big up to Doku recent engagement to get married. Saw it on Instagram, so salute the man making that big step. Big up to Prime Minister saying up the BCN family. Big up Prime Minister. But with Doku, unfortunately, I think Doku is one of those players that represent the low in Man City's reign. And it might not be a fair statement to him, but he's one of the poster childs. I think him and Phil Foden are two poster childs that represent the fall in transition from Man City's dominance. And they might need to move on from him, which is an unfair statement again, but I stand by my statement.
Man City crept into the Champions League spot last year. Speaking of team that's not playing Manchester, not playing Champions League, Man United, like we said, we're only touching big clubs, are recognizable name clubs. Manchester United, Junior, the floor is yours. Talk to me about your transfer business and what do you expect from this team going into...
Only need 1 minute and 10 seconds. Not even...
Okay.
The greatest thing last year, I sat on the show last year and I told you the coach that I respected the hell out of last year, this time, exactly 12 months ago, was who?
I cannot remember anything 12 months ago.
Well, Maresca, I sat here and I looked at you, Benton, and I told Camon at the time, I love what Maresca did.
Okay, because of the comments that he made, you're heading into the season.
The comment that he made, up until that pivotal moment, we had the bus memes that came out against Chelsea, right? Remember the triple-decker bus? And I'm saying, this is the Chelsea's team bus, how much players them have, and them have 4 teams, and right? And then all those memes stopped. All of that social media hype, our negative reporting about Chelsea stopped when Mariska said one thing and one thing only. Mariska said at his press conference, yo, I hear people talking about this 46, 45, 40 man roster. I only care about 22 players. And they know who they are. After that, everything just stopped for Chelsea. And Chelsea became a serious football team at that very moment. I think Ruben Amorim did the same exact thing. Ruben, go back 2 years ago. Remember Ten Hag at the end of his the year. They had a game where they celebrated Ericsson and they celebrated Wan-Bissaka and said the players are leaving the club. Remember that?
Yeah, they have a testimonial.
They had the last game and they basically gave a testimonial. But then 4 months later, Ericsson still playing and Wan-Bissaka was still in the shop window. Fast forward to this year. Ruben Amorim put out some players' names and said, look, you're not a part of this team anymore. I don't care what anybody wants to say. You guys are banned. You're not a part of this team anymore. You're not coming with us on the summer tour. You're not welcomed during the off-season workouts. None of that. Forget about Cunha. Forget about Mboma. Forget about Sesko. The greatest thing that Ruben Amorim did was define his squad and stuck to it. And I think that bodes well for Manchester United. The signings of Mboma, the signings of Cunha, the signing of Sesko, the hopeful signing of Belieber. That's just icing on the cake. But the players them now became a team. And this is the very first year. I'm even willing to say this. This is the first year since Ferguson retired that Manchester United is going into a season with no inter-squad news or no reports about player unhappy and this and this is the first season since Alex Ferguson retired. If you remember, it was Moyes and Evra, Moyes and Vidic very early. That's why Vidic left. Then it became LVG and Angel Di Maria and LVG and Smalling. When LVG said Smalling was the dumbest defender he ever coached. It was Jose and Pogba, Jose and Schweinsteiger. It was Ole and Lukaku. It was Ten Hag and Sancho. That's it, because my boy, there was just a caretaker. This is the first year Manchester United entering the season with no squad knives around the team. It bodes well for them. That's it.
It took longer than a minute and 10 seconds.
Well, guess what? It was great. It was great reporting, though.
All right. Football family, remember to smash the like button. BCN Sports tonight. We have a call-in number. If anyone wants to call in, 770-696-6040. 770-696-6040. WhatsApp 352-745-0992.
You know what? Prime Minister brought it up. I wasn't going to say it. Fabi said that they cannot do worse than last year. Man, you going better this year. I agree. Michelle said, man, you will make a big jump in the table. Will not be 15. Prime Minister said something that was key, though. Pre the Rashford interview with Lineker and Michael.
I watched the whole interview. The Rashford interview.
I watched the whole interview, Prime Minister. Now, people are focusing on, it was just a 2-minute segment that Rashford spoke about Manchester United, and that's the highlight. That's around the 36-minute mark, 35th-minute mark. Okay. But if you watch the whole interview, and I'm not talking bad about this have nothing to do with Manchester United. Not talking bad about Rashford. But this is the problem with today's footballers. And the issue with social media and the need to be seen and the need to be heard. This interview to me was ill-timed. And hats off to Lineker. Lineker tried his best to help Rashford during the interview, and I could sense it. And newsflash, I've done many interviews. I've done some interviews with people that I don't like. I've done interviews with people I have real issues with. I've done interviews with people that have been in some really bad situation, and I had the opportunity to present that situation to the world through them. And I can sense, in my very limited experience, I can sense when an interviewer is trying to help the interviewee. And I can also tell when the interviewee is not taking the hints. Everybody is focusing on when Rashford said, Manchester United, they're stuck in the mud. You can't get better if you keep changing coaches every 2 years and blah, blah, blah. And Lineker, if watch it again, and when you watch the interview, Lineker grunted when he asked Rashford about coaches. He's like, gonna say, who is a coach that had a great influence on you? And that's where him going, him diatribe saying, yo, it's very hard because the coach would change coaches all the time, blah, blah, blah. But then he brought up Jose Mourinho and said, like when I said, Jose wanted to win at all costs. And he basically said that affected him because Jose wouldn't bring up the good things. Because he wants to win at all costs, he would only highlight the negative. And Rashford, wanted, basically paraphrasing, that was a problem for Rashford. Lineker grunted, and you could hear the grunt. And they didn't even edit out the grunt. Lineker said, but LVG wanted to win. And then Rashford said, yeah, he wanted to win as well, but he wanted to win playing pretty football. And Lineker go, Rrr. He grunted, because that's the dumbest answer you could ever give. Because you, Rashford, you are playing on the team. You, Rashford, is the highest paid player on the team. You cannot criticize the coaches that have to come through a revolving door when you are responsible for them going through the revolving door. It was one of the most uncomfortable answers I could ever hear somebody give in an interview. And if you watch a whole interview, Rashford said at the start, I love to win. I will do anything to win. People will not see, and he even said because fans are not footballers, he basically sympathized with them because players do things to win more than just scoring the goal. He said that. But then later on, Jose just wanted to win. I could tell Lineker was like, Jesus, Rashford, don't say that. But could tell, Lineker was looking like, don't say that. And even Michail said at one point, yeah, like Gary Lineker, he could play a whole game. I remember Lineker was a tapping merchant, right? And he said Lineker could play a whole game and does nothing and just have a tap-in the 90th minute and he's the hero. They were giving Rashford the out, where Rashford couldn't just say, you know what? That's Manchester United. It was a tough thing. We tried our best. It never worked out. Now I'm on to bigger and better things. The man just said that. I just said, damn, this dude need media training. Mic drop.
Michelle said, I hope we don't buy Garnacho, his loudmouth and his loudmouth brother. Rashford is one of these players who are fragile and want to be cuddled. Grow up and man up. That's what Michelle said.
And if he thinks Jose was hard, Hans Flick, and you know what? I wasn't going to say it, but let me go in and say it. Should I say it?
I thought you already said mic drop. The mic drop and pick you up.
You know what? Sorry, I'm going to say it. Last year, this time, 12 months ago. Remember what Hansi Flick implemented at Barcelona, right? You remember what he implemented, right?
What exactly did he
The dress code. You remember he implemented a dress code. Players them had to wear sweats coming in to training. He implemented a very strict dress code, right? And he implemented some rules to govern the team. He implemented it last off season. I don't think this interview with Sky was. I have a funny feeling Barca wasn't aware this interview was going to happen. I have a funny feeling because you don't see a lot of Barcelona players doing interviews. And this one just come in on loan, and you do an interview. And remember, Lineker played for Barcelona. So that was the angle that Sky used to get the interview. It was obvious. So there is the Englishman.
I mean, the players on loan. The Barcelona soon send him back.
Well, we don't know. Prime Minister says, from the interview, I picked up something different. The club is negligent in management, and short-term fixes are not a recipe for long-term success. Oh, that's 100%.
I mean, cuss out the old bug club, yes? I mean, Rashford, talking things. I mean, let's drive down the price or whatever. I do understand the point.
So asking you and Prime Minister a question. Because that is true, you know. That is 100% true.
What is true?
But should that criticism be coming from a current player? Or should that criticism be coming from somebody that cannot change it?
Okay. So was he asked?
That's the question. Huh?
He was asked, right?
No, he wasn't asked.
Okay.
He wasn't asked. Watch the interview.
Because he's still a fan of the club, right? This is his boyhood club. He remember coming through the ranks when Alex Ferguson was there, and there was a system, there was a strategy that was developed and implemented, and an attitude that everyone has to. So there's some level of truth to it. No, I do agree with the point that yes, I'm not supposed to chat them things right now. Boss, we do have Barcelona right now. We are working on some things. Whatever going over Man United, I wish them all the best. And that's the thing there over there. So.
When you watch the interview and watch the wording and it, trust me, they asked him about the coaches, and that's how it kind of veered off into that about Manchester United. They even gave him an out when they said, well, you know, Aston Villa was the perfect jumping spot for you, where you leave your boyhood club, something that you used to, you go somewhere new to get used to a new environment that prepared you to come to Barcelona. And that's what I knew they were.
How kind of place we are living in? But Aston Villa prepare man to come to Barcelona.
That is how uncomfortable the interview was meant, and that they had to give him that out. You have to watch it. I'm telling you, watch it, and when you watch it and you listen to what I just said, you're going to realize.
God, Football Club Barcelona. But overall, Manchester United. I think I've said this before. I off the record during the chat that we will keep about football. I like the moves that Manchester United made so far. I really like the moves. I'm a huge fan of Matheus Cunha. I think this youth's a baller. Can be a head case. So you're going to have to keep him level-headed because blood gets hot sometimes. Mbomo, baller. Absolute outstanding baller. So I expect there will be a lot of opportunities for somebody to score some goals at Manchester United. And I hope this guy, Sesko, is the real deal because he does have potential. What I saw, a young player still have some growing to do. The midfield needs some speed and some steel in that place because dog them in the supper. So what's gonna happen with Donnarumma? If you know, are you guys gonna get Donnarumma?
They already said they're not signing a goalkeeper.
So in the season, who's going? Because we know the goalkeeper position is a position where Manchester United could use an improvement. You go with Brian Dower, whatever his name. Where they back up number 2, brother name? Brendier.
Why would I play number 2, Benton? Watch your mouth, man.
Then a number 2 are the man who going to start.
Banana keep. Banana keep.
A banana keep. A number 2 a play.
Banana man.
Banana man.
Him a keep.
So wait, you don't play number 2 and you say a banana man a keep? Let's see what happened with Manchester United. Before we officially and formally predict the Premier League, the 3 teams that entered the league this year, newly promoted, Sunderland, Leeds, and Burnley. Your thoughts on these 3 teams? Is it in, out? Last year the teams them just come forward and take with themselves.
Welcome and goodbye.
You know what? I think I like Daniel Farke and Leeds. I expect them to play some good football.
Welcome and goodbye.
Daniel Farke and Leeds. Looking forward to see them play some proper football. Very exciting football. Watch them a lot.
Welcome and goodbye.
Any other major news that you want to highlight before we get to in the Premier League? Before we get to our predictions.
Watch out for Tottenham. Okay. But I think last year, after the top 2 teams, I think 3rd place to 6th, 7th was a race. I don't think we're going to be much of a race this year. I think we're going to see some clear separation. I think Newcastle going to fall off. Big this year. I don't think Brighton is going to be as good. Crystal Palace, all of these teams are going to get pillaged, and they are not going to be able to replace the players that they're losing. So that's the big news I'm taking away from this year. I think this year is a 6-team race for top 5, and we soon hear them predictions.
Brentford, Keith Andrews takes over from Thomas Frank. Wissa could be a player that a team may want to poach, right?
Yeah, so all of them teams are now, they never were talking about. All of them just said a shop window. Did not. Right now, I think football right now is the haves and the have-nots. If you are playing in Europe, you have a lot of money, you can pillage these players. If you're not playing in Europe, you better have a damn good farm system and a damn good scouting network and a damn good academy where you can parlay these players into bigger money and then build your team that way. And I think that's where football is heading right now.
All right, drum roll. Prediction time. Let's go. Let's get to it. Top 4 family. In fact, run it. Premier League. Who 1 through 4
it's for too you? Early. It's too early because with 2 weeks left in the transfer window. But if all things remain,
we go through this every year. We have a pre-show but we always occur in the transfer window and we predict. We live with it. Most of these teams are going to change drastically. The teams, them 90% of the players them set. Let's go. Let's make our picks and keep it moving.
But transfer deadline day, if I see fit where I can make an adjustment, I'm going to make an adjustment.
Yeah, make an adjustment. And this is August 13th.
So all things remaining equal. My top 4 teams of the Premier League in no specific order will be.
No, wait, you have to pick the winner. Come on, stop the foolishness.
No, we can't pick it. All right.
We go through this every year, family. Junior's pick. Come on, sit down, you pick them.
All right, so it's even hard to pick the 4th best team. May I get the top 4? Top 4 for me. Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea. Liverpool, no, I'm going to give 4 teams. I'm not ranking them yet. Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, City.
Okay.
I don't know who will win yet. The 5th team, number 5. As a Man U fan, I am praying that we get number 5. I'm praying we get Baliba, then Man U will finish 5th. But if they don't get Baliba, Man U is at 8 or 7. I think Belieber is three positions in the table. Tottenham will finish 5th.
I didn't ask the man for 5th, brother. I just asked the man for top 4. I know where I get relegated.
Oh, so top 4. All right. So Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, City are the top 4 teams, however them play out. Relegation, the 3 teams that will get promoted. Them relegated.
All right. Since I dance on the thing, we just go ahead and pick. All right. Top number 1. Arsenal. You have to win the Premier League this year. You have to win the Premier League this year. You cannot spend all that money and win the Premier League this year. Arsenal, Gunners, clean up the rifle, load up the machine. May 20, when the league done, May 25th or whatever I done next year, Arsenal will be holding the Premier League trophy. What we saw with Liverpool, what we saw with Liverpool when they won their first Premier League trophy, Jurgen Klopp was there for quite a while. He fought and he fought and he fought. Michail Arteta has been at Arsenal for a while and he has made the investments. Arsenal wins the Premier League. Arsenal wins the Premier League. Man City second. Man City is second. Liverpool is in third. And the reason why Liverpool is third, I still need to get some surety regarding that defensive position. I am not convinced that Kirkish and left back is not going to be exposed in the playing up high. And Frimpong will score goals, but he will be just as vulnerable defensively as Trent Alexander. Liverpool finished third. Frimpong doesn't have the assist capabilities of Trent Arnold. Doesn't have it. So Liverpool will finish third and Chelsea fourth. Arsenal 1, City 4, City 2, Liverpool 3, and Chelsea 4. That's the top 4.
And people, if you don't know us yet, Benton have the greatest goat mouth in history. Any side Benton picks hard.
That means that Chelsea's supposed to win then, right?
Chelsea will win. And Crime Minister, is the Crime Minister 4. Crime Minister said Chelsea first, City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Newcastle.
All right, so I got Arsenal. Brother, I mean, Junior, you can coach Arsenal team to victory in the Premier League now with these investments. You have repeatedly, year after, you have the best defense in the Premier League. If you look at the defensive posture, defensive rankings year over year, Arsenal unequivocally has ranked either 1 or top 3 in defensive. And you don't essentially have no minus in that era. You went out and you supplement and you add to your offensive posture. You have to win the Premier League. And if you get every reach easy, you're supposed to get a treble. Premier League.
All right.
Premier League, League Cup, and FA Cup.
All right. Supposed to. I think an omen was set for Arsenal this year. And thanks for bringing this up. I forgot it. Who is Arsenal's biggest rival in England? It's Tottenham. Right?
Yeah, Tottenham.
Arsenal and Tottenham are island water. Tottenham hates Arsenal. Arsenal hates Tottenham, right? And we went over the story about why Arsenal and Tottenham hate each other. Remember the story?
Arsenal have a different version. Because Arsenal people have linked me about a different version too.
They lied. What the version I gave is a real version. Arsenal and Tottenham played in the preseason. You remember what happened in that game, right?
I remember that game.
You remember Pedro Porro pushed Michail Arteta back in his technical area in that game, right?
Yes.
And not one Arsenal player confronted him.
Michelle said, not because you must means you will.
Which is true, but not one Arsenal player confronted Pedro Porro when he pushed Arteta.
They didn't see it.
And that was a red flag for me.
They didn't see it.
You can say that all you want. And because it's preseason, make it even worse. Because there's nothing on the line. Nothing to lose. You're done tired from playing the whole season. I know you play a preseason game. And this brother for this team that you hate push your coach. Brother Brookfoot, that's fight. And nobody confronted Pedro Porro. That's a red flag for me. And I waxed lyrically about Arsenal earlier having the best midfield and blah, blah, blah. But I said before and I'll say it again, Arteta will be their demise.
Junior.
Michelle says her top 4 is Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal, City.
We can agree that Arsenal address a huge need, right?
Yes.
Okay. If them don't win the trophy, mash up the club, man. Mash it up. Arsenal wins the Premier League. Man City second. Liverpool third. Now, if Liverpool secure Isak, which will occur, I am centre back. Liverpool need a centre back.
An experienced centre back. Fabi Fredson come in and remind against.
Chelsea Ford.
Yeah.
That's my top 4. Now back. And then for relegation, Sunderland gone. Brentford gone. Big up yourself, Ethan Pinnock. And Burnley gone. Sunderland, Brentford, and Burnley gone. My official predictions. We'll circle back next year. We don't want to play that song again for Arsenal, but win a trophy. You have, if not now, brethren, when? I think we all just have to prepare for deal with Arsenal fans next year. If not now, when? You have to win this Premier League. Have to. What more else do you need? You have to. You have to. Before we go, my yard, La Liga kicks off this weekend. Well, before we take ourselves, Michail Arteta is going to be a pundit. His days and his career at West Ham is officially ended. Junior, Michail Arteta.
Antonio.
Michail Antonio, not Michail Arteta. Thanks. Okay, I already pick Arsenal and I really reconsider.
You already have put Arteta and put it.
You already reconsider the victim. Michail Antonio is out and he says a lot of clubs are interested in him. He's going to be a pundit. Junior, thoughts on Michael's career at West Ham and now he searched for a club. 35 years old. Can a club in the Premier League use Michail Antonio?
No.
And what does it mean for the Reggae Boyz?
Michail Antonio is his career at West Ham. He's the personification of persistence. He's the personification of endurance, of enduring, and it's unfortunate how his career came to an end at West Ham. Because if he didn't have that accident, he would still be playing. They would have given him a new contract and he would still be playing. But you heard him say, there's some social media posts out there from an interview where he talks about how every year he feel like he had to prove himself. And that is, to me, is the symbol of his career at West Ham. I remember, he started as a left winger, left or right winger. He was a winger at first. And then he became a striker. And he was one of those in-between kind of players where you look at it and say, he's a good baller, but they could probably do better. And he keeps proving them wrong, by proving himself right. And that, to me, is a symbol of his career there at West Ham. Unfortunately, it came to an end. Now, what it means for the Reggae Boyz, what it means for Jamaica men's national team. Because Reggae Boyz are from 98. But done with Reggae Boyz. It don't mean anything. Michail Antonio is a former player. Michail Antonio, to me, is just like, at this point, he is just like Wolde Harris. Asking if Michail Antonio is going to play for Jamaica is like asking if Wolde Harris is going to play for Jamaica at this point. And if I see Michail Antonio on that team, September, JFF already don't respond to me. We're not talk about JFF much today. We're not talk about Speed and Ray, but they will get an email from me. And I am going to send them an open email. What I mean by open email, it's going to be handwritten. It's not going to be written by ChatGPT. I am going to write the email. And I'm going to open it to everybody who interested in anything on the post. I'm going to go and read it and see what I'm sent to them.
Michail Antonio, hopefully he finds a club, but he will be in the squad, Steve McLaren and Rudolph Speed squad for the September window. Because he have time.
Time for the what?
To play a ball against Bermuda. A World Cup.
He's doing media training.
He will have time, Junior. La Liga season kicks off this weekend, family. Let's get your thoughts on storylines. Mbappé versus Yamal. That's the storyline for a lot of La Liga fans heading into the season. Things that you're looking forward to. Xabi Alonso, the man at the helm at Real Madrid, family.
Yeah, that is what I'm looking forward to the most. Barcelona is Barcelona. That they're not changing. They are a consistent team and they're going to do what they do. Can Atletico Madrid meet what they did last year and make it a step even further? Because they always seem to be close. They always seem to be there. They did overcome both teams one time already, but we're talking about consistency. Those are the question marks for me. After that, I don't think there's any other team to worry about it in La Liga. It is Barcelona, the Madrid teams, and the rest. Real Betis, can they get Anthony? And because I think my boy they hurt, right? Isco.
Well, if a side that depend on all foot Isco, I mean.
Yeah, but we're just talking about teams that can compete
did quite well
in the
for
top
them
two.
last year, but I mean, come on, a long time Isco.
Yeah, Barca, Real Madrid, and Atletico Madrid. Watch out for Real Madrid, though. I don't know. I think Xabi has a hard road to toe. And he has some players that he is replacing or moving away from, some players that he need to move away from, and some players that he's going to depend on that are unproven. And I think that's going to be the storyline this year for La Liga.
So the things that I'm watching in La Liga this year, Real Madrid versus Osasuna on Tuesday is a kickoff. How does Trent Arnold fold into this team? Real Madrid needs as much help in midfield as they can get. Of course, they lost some generals. So can Trent Arnold give them a strength in midfield? Or will they go out and get another midfielder? We know Dani Carvajal is back, so we expect Dani Carvajal to start. Arda Güler, I mean, we saw in the preseason that, Xabi Alonso is looking to explore other options for Arda and Arda Güler and get him involved in this team. You have too many talented ballers who can't just rub bench, brother. Them man need to play some ball for Real Madrid.
And that's the thing. So they're coming to take over from some established ballers.
Yeah, but you have some. What will happen with this Rodrigo situation? They need to kind of either settle it if you go months, because the Royal Whites does not bleach for nobody. This is why they have won 15 Champions League titles. them not bleach pan nobody. So if Rodrigo is going to Man City, let's move on. Let's get that deal done so that Real Madrid can move on with their life. I saw they signed Hussein Hussein or whatever, that young defender from Bournemouth, which I think will be very, very huge for them, because last year they had a lot of injuries on the defensive side and they struggled in that department. You don't have a lot of repeat in La Liga from in recent memory. A team does well, win one year and the next side, then flip the script and win. So if that adhered to the script, one would expect Real Madrid to win it this year because Barcelona won it this year. Maybe the two sides them cook up and decide to them to pass it back and forth to one another. But Junior, but I think the bottom line for me too, and I think for a lot of football fans, is will Lamine Yamal takes another step this year? Because the excitement of watching him play, the joy, there's a genuine buzz when this youth is on the football. And now if he then transcend or become even better than he was last year, sky's the limit, because you have the two probably biggest draws in football in La Liga, where you have Kylian Mbappé at the Real Madrid and you have Lamine Yamal. So that El Clasico game should be lit.
Yeah, but you see, the question I ask, can Lamine Yamal take the next step? He has the potential to. Now, his situation is a little bit unique because they are winning already, right? What will define the next step for Lamine Yamal? For me, Lamine Yamal is still a young baller enjoying playing football, and it shows. The next step for Lamine Yamal is going to be, I know I am the best player, and I am going to wear that hat moving forward. And a lot of players drop the button at that moment. You can point to certain moments within a player's career. All the greats, all the players that wear the best baller in the world title. You can point to a moment in their career where you say, that was the moment when he transitioned from this to this, right? And when will we see that for Lamine Yamal? Will we ever see that for Lamine Yamal? Because eventually, the young baller tag is going to be removed from him. And by then, you have to be an established general. And that's not an easy step. I don't know if that's going to be this year. For the joy of football, of me watching football, I hope it happens sooner than later. And I hope he matures into that player. But we'll see. We'll see.
Excited. I'm excited to watch him play this year.
Yes.
Marcus Rashford, though we agree regarding the interview was badly timed, he's not Barcelona DNA sort of player, but he's a Hans Flick type system starter player. Barcelona needs that help on the left wing, and Marcus Rashford with his speed will afford Barcelona something in that left side of the football field.
You're benching Rafinha.
Yo, you can put on your pot pan Rafinha?
Yes.
Okay, well, now he has competition. So if we can put on the pot, make sure the same get ready to cook curry peas every week. Or curry goat every week. Rice and peas every week. All right? So ultimately, I've loved that Rafinha has evolved into a better version of himself. But I still see Rafinha at Brazil struggling to impact football games. I still see Rafinha as a player who was a Leeds baller. So the money are not Barcelona type DNA baller. The money are just come forward for help Barcelona try get over of a financial debt by winning Champions League. That's the ultimate objective of these people. And then we can offload them and then return to the Barcelona DNA with Kubirisi and these young players coming through the academy. Fermin Lopez and etc. Tired of them local ballers here. We are kick and run it down. So, with that being said, I'm looking forward to La Liga. I'm looking forward to see Lamine Yamal roll some ball because he's an exciting football player. Another major storyline though, Junior, and sometimes we don't see this in football, and we chastise players for rolling down money and doing whatever. But the story of real Oviedo, Santi Cazorla, going back to his hometown team, essentially paying, not get paid, and bringing this team to La Liga is really something really special about football. They might get butter bruise, and we probably don't win many games, but it's really a joy to see these sort of good things still occurring in football, where a player just say, yo, I go my yard and I'm going to help this team achieve something great. And they're in La Liga this year. Looking forward to see Santi Cazorla and this group play some football. And we know
and to add context to what you just said, that's true. But you have to add the context to why you just said that Santi Cazorla is 41 years old.
Yeah, man.
And you just signed a contract extension. So
yeah. Looking forward.
Yeah, it's his boyhood club, but
yeah, but Oviedo and not go nowhere. Nobody never know them.
True, and it speaks to his character, because remember, he was the one that had that nasty infection in his ankle, and lost all those time with that long recovery, and many people would have given up. Many would have given up. Don't care how much you love it, you're not going through that kind of recovery. So that kind of speaks. So with knowing that of his history, it should not surprise you that he's doing what he's doing right now. And it's a great story. It's a great story to follow. And I really support him. And they're going to survive this year. They are going to stay in La Liga.
Speak it into existence.
Yes.
Okay, yes. Look at you. Look at you. How about to speak Manchester United into Champions League into existence?
No.
But looking forward to seeing that team and Santi Cazorla, because ballers are ballers. And it doesn't matter what age they are. When you see them man upon football or roll ball, it's technically excellent baller. Looking forward to seeing him play.
And enjoying him ball game.
Nico Williams. Looking forward to see the Williams boys do their thing over Atletico Bilbao. Man, Nico dog out Barcelona, and then decides he must stay at home. And I truly respect that. Continue to build that relationship with your brother and do something special over Atletico Bilbao and make Barcelona go chuck off. Junior, so you have who winning La Liga?
Barca,
all right. I think Real Madrid.
I really want the Real Madrid though, but Barca.
Real Madrid is going to win it. I think this is probably last year for Cholo at Atletico Madrid. They made a lot of moves. I think they signed about 7 or so players. It's going to be a tall task to kind of replicate some of the successes that Cholo has had with this club. And I think at the end of the day, it's probably time to go on road. I mean, Inter Milan probably need a new manager soon again. And Cholo has been on the record as saying that he wants to coach Inter Milan one day. So, might as well. So,
dumb question. Just yes or no?
Yeah.
Cholo coaching Arsenal next year if Arsenal don't win the Premier League?
No.
Okay. All right.
No. One quick point I want to ask you though. This is causing a lot of heartache and angry comments from Real Madrid brass and leadership over at Real Madrid. Spanish FA RFEF approve the playing of Villareal versus Barcelona in the US. This is La Liga game scheduled for December. This was the first La Liga game to be played in the US, if approved by FIFA. Madrid says over them dead body, flatly rejected. I just want to know, is this a good trend for La Liga or any domestic league to start look for try play the league games in America or in some international country?
It's all about money. It's all about money. So I think the traditionalists, to answer your question, I think it's a common trend. I think yes. I think we're going to see more of this. I think we're going to see Champions League games playing in neutral sites.
And this is something that I hate about La Liga for doing this, because Villareal has pretty much relinquished. This is Villareal home game. Because Barca now give up for them home game. This is Villareal's home game that they are giving up to play it in the US so they can make our money.
And there's nothing, I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. Because
so I look at Villareal fans them who have tickets to watch a game. I look at idiots at the stadium. What am I do that Sunday? They can't fly to America.
You can still watch a game on a Jumbotron. And I'm sorry, you're missing one game. Who cares? Whoop-de-doo. There's nothing wrong with that. I guess you're a traditionalist or a purist.
I mean, it's not about traditionalists. I think it's a situation like this. I don't see how this benefits the league, and I don't see how it benefits the domestic league within the US. Because it's called domestic league for a reason. You play in your yard.
So you're being 100% purist now, because I think no, it's not going to benefit the MLS, but it's going to benefit the growth of the sport in America, where you get top marketing dollars. So this is all about money. Now, you have to ask yourself now, why is Fiorentina Perez? Because when it's a Real Madrid, it's Perez is against.
Yes, of course. Fiorentina Perez is because Barcelona get money from it.
Not only that, Perez wanted the Super League. And if he had the Super League, the same games would be playing in Miami.
Listen.
And everybody shut him down at the time.
League. This is La Liga.
I know, but everybody shut him down at the time. He's being very petty. It shouldn't matter to him where Barcelona plays.
The reason why Barcelona is doing this is because Barcelona has been piss poor in managing their books, spending money with them to have. And now every local skettle league or any place will come and give them money to come play. But this is bad for domestic leagues. So what? Jamaica Premier League are going to start try and play a match of America so they can get that money?
All right. Look, when you're asking questions like those, let us ensure that the league that you're thinking about moving, they are actually making money at their place already. So no, that answer is no. Prime Minister says the problem with the money grab is that it never stops. This only fuels more greed for the club to go out and spend. Exactly. That's why Champions League changed. But you're right, Prime Minister. But that's, hold on, I'm sorry. That's why Champions League changed. That's why we have the Club World Cup changed. That's why you have so much teams making it to the World Cup instead of the 32. I'm sorry. That's the nature of the beast. And football, like any other sport, is becoming globalized. And when you talk about globalization, you have to talk about capitalism. When you talk about capitalism, you're talking about money talks, BS walks, right? So the other thing now where the Premier League teams have to get used to, because I'm a Manchester United fan, I follow the news. Man U is making a new stadium, right? They're already floating seat license, and everybody in England is losing their mind. And if you're not familiar with what a seat license is, it's something that America NFL teams do this. When they build a stadium, you cannot be a season ticket holder without buying a license. You have to buy a license to buy season tickets. So it's all a money grab. And the thing that I saw, I don't know how true. I apologies if my numbers are wrong, but in the English Premier League and in all European league games, their home games, I want to say it's like $30 to go to a game. While in America, in the NFL, $30 probably buy you one hot dog. You paid $150, $200 to watch the worst team in the NFL way up in the nosebleeds. And who are the owners of these teams in Europe, or especially England and Italy now as well? Americans. So as globalization happens, as capitalism kick in, the ways of making money is going to take over. So we're going to get used to it. And you know what, Champions League might as well just call a global league right now. You can take a flight. The flights are comfortable. The players have not to worry about nothing. It's not like 40 years ago. It take you 500 hours to fly from England to Miami. Brother, I just saw what 8-hour, 6-hour flight in a what are the big airline name with the people with the red hat, the girl with the red hat and Qatar Airways or whatever.
Etihad Air or whatever.
Etihad, yo, you take good flight and go flick over Miami, come play some ball, man. Just make sure. Listen to me. Let me just tell you this, Ben. Ben, I want to tell him this. At least for the next 3 years, when you come to Miami or New York or wherever, if your passport say you need to be out of the country by tomorrow at 3 o'clock, make sure you're on the flight and gone by 3 o'clock tomorrow and deport your backside.
I don't like this move. I don't like it, and hopefully FIFA will reject it because, again, La Liga approved it. FIFA still has to approve it. This is infringing and violating the general principle of domestic league. Brother, play your league games at your yard. Club competitions, all right, fine. You want to run knockout competitions, fine. You want to run go over Saudi Arabia, go play a local Super Cup or a Spanish Super Cup, fine. But this is why you have a domestic league. Play it at your yard.
All right, so play the role of FIFA, Benton. I will play the role of La Liga. So, Benton, beg your little approval for play the game of Miami, please. Hold on, before you answer.
No, I'm ready.
We get 100 million.
Hell no.
Before you answer, say 100 million here.
Hell no.
All right. Yo, we're gonna have an election. We're gonna vote out Benton because he's clearly money mad.
Well, that's fine. All right, because we know what? We know it's a Barcelona over there so cook the book. So it's only a matter of time before we repossess some things over at TV racks. Allegedly. Wonderful preview show, family. Season premiere on BCN Sports tonight. First show of the season. We wanted to touch some cricket, but we can't do that tonight. Tomorrow, Caribbean Premier League kicks off, aka T20 Corridor Cricket. For those of you who just joined us, BCN Sports will be covering sports across different genre, different types of sports, so different arenas, different sports. So we will be covering cricket. So tomorrow, I might do a watch along for the opening game of the Caribbean Premier League, Corridor Cricket. We have our La Liga assessment ready. Football family, it's been a smash the like button, Junior. That, wonderful show, went real long today. More of this coming. Multiple watch alongs.
It's just a preview show.
Multiple watch alongs set up for this weekend. I'll be on deck for the Arsenal Manchester United game. I think Junior is on deck for the Saturday game, right?
Yeah. Saturday morning, 7:30 game. The early. I think that's Man City versus
Wolves.
You
doing a watch along for Man City versus Wolves, brother? You know what? Let me give the Premier League schedule for the games coming up this weekend. That would be and the La Liga games. Kickoff Friday 3 p.m. Liverpool versus Bournemouth. Saturday at 7:30 Aston Villa versus Newcastle.
That's the game I'm doing. Aston Villa Newcastle. That's the game I'm doing.
Okay, so and we know Isak won't be lining up for this game. Brighton versus Fulham, Sunderland versus West Ham, Spurs versus Burnley in the 10 o'clock hour, and at 12:30 Man City versus Wolves. On Sunday at 9 a.m., Crystal Palace versus Chelsea, Forest versus Brentford. Junior, interestingly, Nuno is still in charge at Forest. We saw the bust-up or the long argument at the end of the season last year between Marinakis, the owner of Forest, and Nuno Espirito. It seems like things are all good now.
Well, Michelle did say she's worried about Forest earlier, so I saw that coming from Michelle earlier. I'm worried about them too. They might for relegation, so but we'll see.
The feature game on Sunday, or this weekend's feature game in the English Premier League kickoff weekend, Man United, Mbomo, Konya, Sesko, who else? Fridge, Onana versus the general, them, the 5-star Gunners. Arsenal, soon to be crowned Premier League champions. 11:30 p.m. I'll be doing a watch along for this one. Definitely can't miss it.
I'll be at church.
On Monday, Leeds versus Everton. David Moyes, Everton versus Leeds. And in La Liga, this weekend's games in La Liga. Barcelona versus Mallorca on Saturday. Well, let's start with the Friday game. Girona versus Rayo Vallecano. Friday kicks off. 2 games on Friday. Villareal versus Real Oviedo. Both games on Friday. And then on Saturday, you have Mallorca versus Barca. Alaves versus Levante. Valencia versus Real Sociedad. There are those of us think that this is the year that Valencia will be relegated. It'll be long overdue. Celta versus Getafe rounds out the Saturday action for La Liga. On Sunday, Sevilla, struggling Sevilla versus Atletico Bilbao. Espanyol versus Atletico Madrid. And Real Betis, man called Anthony, and Real Betis versus
No, Anthony didn't reach yet.
He not reach yet?
Nope.
Okay. Man called Anthony still catching the train. Betis versus Elche will play on Monday, and Real Madrid, Royal Whites versus Osasuna on Tuesday. Junior, that's enough. Big up to the family. Big up. Thank you all for sticking with us. Family, how we start the season, your thoughts? Had some glitches along the way, but your thoughts?
A good one. And Friday, people, might play some tune Friday night, 1 hour. 1 hour. Might do 90s dancehall. I might keep it 90s culture dancehall. I might do that. Call it the BCN Lounge. You might do a BCN Lounge on Friday nights. Probably around 9 o'clock, 9 to 10, get your favorite drink. Sit down and we'll just vibe in the night, hopefully. And if we don't get any copyright or whatever violation, then we'll do it more consistently. But I ring some tune Friday night to one. So a lot of things coming up on BCN. You don't know. Just stay tuned.
We have an off the field already recorded, ready for drop. So that's
coming. Athletic Republic. That's coming Monday. I think I'll release it Monday. What do you think, Monday?
Yeah, we have a whole heap of content doing. We got cricket watch along lining up for Curry Goat Cricket, aka T20 tomorrow. We'll start kick off the season. Watch that game. Football family, big up. Thank you all for joining us. Hopefully you guys have a safe Thursday. Connect with us on Blue Sky, BCN Sports, or at Ball Chat Podcast. Remember, Ball Chat Weekly will still be there. We're still at Facebook at Ball Chat And we're still on Instagram at Ball Chat Podcast. If there's something you want us to cover or someone you want us to interview, talk to us. Send us an email at ballchatpodcast@gmail.com, ballchatpodcast@gmail.com, or BCN Sports LLC, BCN Sports LLC @gmail.com. Gone a road, no family. Chat safely.
Liquor war.